Brawl News! We have a very important episode of Brawl News here on deck with some of the most compelling Starr Park developments that we've had in such a long time. And of course, other things that I'm sure you guys are going to want to know about here today, so be sure to subscribe if you guys enjoy it or find it helpful. So it has felt like years since we've had anything interesting in the Starr Park or lore space when it comes to Brawl Stars. Of course, with pretty much every single update, the Brawl Stars dev team acknowledges Starr Park is still a thing, almost feeling like they're keeping it alive, where it's not like we're getting a continuation to the actual storyline of Starr Park that we got some time ago, but still homages to it, showing different things popping up, as well as interesting connections with new brawlers coming out in their backstory untold yet, but seem to have some connections to Starr Park themselves, which again, we still are going to be getting into that lore video when it comes to RT and his implementation in the game. There's some interesting stuff that we need to talk about, but nothing super crazy and nowhere near comparable to the Starr Park heyday when we were getting things like the Invest in the Future video. Now, what we need to get into here in this episode today isn't necessarily a continuation to Starr Park, but extremely interesting information as to how it was developed and conceptualized in the first place. There's an article created just a little bit ago showcasing the approach from the actual creators of Starr Park and the deep lore behind it. If you guys didn't know, the Brawl Stars dev team and Supercell in general didn't design it. They hired out the actual creation of the lore and the storyline, how to get it to the actual community. And this is telling that story from the perspective of the genuine creators, and not only are we getting an actual look into how it was created, but we're also getting some really cool photos posting showcasing the origin photos of Starr Park, where it all stemmed from, which is so interesting if you're a fan of Starr Park. I'll be leaving the link to this article in the description down below if you guys want to have a read for yourselves. It is super compelling. But for example, here from their perspective at the second paragraph, our assignment was to reveal that a game was set in Starr Park. Our solution was to create an elaborate and mysterious origin story for the game and let the community figure it out for themselves. The execution was a culmination of 7 different productions over 6 intense months. We worked with the game's creators to craft a mysterious found footage short film that dropped without warning in a regularly scheduled game update on YouTube. Of course, the Brawl Talk that had the Invest in the Future video in it. We hid a game within a game within a game, the Project Laser, the 8-bit minigame that was an Easter egg within Brawl Stars. The Easter egg was well hidden, but that didn't stop 20 million plus players from discovering it, playing it, and posting its secrets online only seconds after it dropped. They also go in depth how they first introduced this lore to the community very secretively, much like the blinking in Tara's Bazaar actually being Morse code, directing us to the WKBRL livestream. It's a super fun read, and I highly recommend you guys check it out for yourselves. But just taking a look at some of the other things much like this, they actually show how they designed the Starr Park logo here, going into very elaborate design mechanics. That's super interesting to see the backstory of. I mean, come on, this is so awesome. They also have a Starr Park stadium plan here with some names, much like the owner. It's hard to make it out, very scribblish, as well as the seller. But yeah, amazing dude. Not so much as a continuation to the lore itself here, but super noteworthy to see kind of the inner workings of Starr Park when it was in its heyday. And hats off to these super talented people that actually designed it. 6 long months. It's baffling to try to understand where they would even start with trying to come up with something like Starr Park, because man, they nailed it. Lore getting attention from people way outside of the Brawl Stars space, much like Matt Pat with a game theory video along with Kairos, and just so much recognition here, drawing people into the kind of dark backstory of such upbeat, joyous game, right? It's so dang cool. On top of the interesting info from the article itself, I think this also gives us further context as to why we haven't gotten like a Starr Park Season 2 or anything like that. I'm sure they fulfilled what Supercell asked of them, and once the project was over here, maybe Supercell just didn't continue on with Starr Park. They told told the story, and that was the story. But I don't think it should be viewed as a negative thing, seeing that the Brawl Stars dev team has kind of kept the whole Starr Park stuff alive. It shows that they are still interested with the lore and backstory, and I'm assuming we'll be getting something else happening in the future. But with that out of the way, we have a few other things to get straight away into, keeping you guys in the loop here in this episode of Brawl News. Taking a look at a post over here on the Brawl Stars Twitter page 2 days ago, and the winner is, drum roll, Steam Fish for his Kraken Surge skin. Guys, Kraken Surge ended up winning. We had mentioned, taking a look at the poll itself very early on, that there was such a substantial lead for that Kraken Surge skin that I just thought it was going to win in the end. And when it comes down to this, it's pretty dang cool that the Brawl Stars dev team gives the community a bigger say in which skin is actually being implemented into the game than we did before. So definitely looking forward to this skin coming out in the very near future. Can't wait to see how it fits into future updates, much like we talked about in a recent episode of Brawl News. But moving along here with an event that just came out today that is a very first here in the history of Brawl Stars, a challenge, but it's a duels challenge. We very rarely get solo challenges inside of Brawl Stars, seeing that we've really only had one that's been playable, Showdown. But now that duels is a permanent game mode, we are seeing a challenge surrounding it, which is super fun. We got Primo and Sam duking it out in the boxing ring. I love it. But we got 4 days and 14 hours to complete this challenge. It is a 10-win duels challenge that actually has a ton of really good rewards. I'm telling you, dude, the challenges since this last update have been goated. I'd recommend waiting a couple days so the actual games themselves get a bit less sweaty. All the tryhards go in right away. But on the first map, we have No Surrender here. The second map, we have 4 Lakes. The third map is Monkey Maze. The fourth map is Mogura Tatiki. They make it hard to say, man. And then the fifth map is No Excuses. And if you end up winning, you get the cool dual spray. Now, I actually saw this post 2 hours ago from Ash, who ended up making a guide based on the highest win rate team comps to pick for each of the maps out. Huge props to Ash for putting this together. If you guys would like to utilize this, I'll leave it up on the screen. You guys can take a screenshot for yourselves. Highest win rate team comps when it comes to these challenges can be very beneficial if you're trying to look for every edge possible with these rewards. But when it comes to challenges and what I've seen in the past is it's important to get good brawler picks on those maps with a hint of comfort. Make sure to play the brawlers that you're most comfortable with. Meta standings and stuff like that can really only carry you so far. If you're goated on the Bell and you stink with Piper, go with Bell, basically is what I'm talking about there for the first map. But best of luck with the challenge, everyone. It's super exciting getting brand new things like this here in Brawl Stars from time to time, so very much so looking forward to doing it myself. But there you have it, everyone. That's just about all I got for you here in this episode today. Super exciting, finally getting kind of new Starr Park stuff here inside of the community, and just always fun things happening inside of Brawl Stars. But yeah, everyone, if you enjoyed the video, be sure to slap a like on it. I'd really appreciate that. Have an absolutely fantastic rest of your day. Keep having fun with Brawl Stars, and we'll see you all in the next one. Adios, and take care.